Hey folks, Shonen Jack back again with episode 7 of season 2 of My Hero Academia. We have another dub episode, so that's good, and I worried last week over nothing. So, for the time being, I'm just going to assume that we're always going to get a new dub episode at the same time every week until we're told otherwise. So, what were we talking about last week? I had a chance to watch through a bit of the extras on the Blu-ray set. Haven't gotten to the episodes themselves because I'm not doing a rewatch quite yet, but no, I saw some of the interviews and convention footage, and there's definitely some value there for your money. If you're interested in the English side, there's interviews with Justin Briner and Chris Sabat and Clifford Chabin. If you're more interested in the Japanese side, they have the director and one of the chief animators and one of the producers in there. You know, all very interesting stuff and something for everyone. My favorite bit was Chris Sabat talking about how competitive the casting was for All Might, because we talked a bit about that last week, and how he succeeded in sabotaging Patrick Seitz, who was also in the running for that role. So since last time, we had the tournament bracket, and I found this image, which details the whole thing. And I'm kind of looking at this, and this is kind of the way I would hope it goes. I make no guarantees, and I definitely do cop that there are some flaws in this idea, but this is kind of what I'm thinking could happen, and what my hopes are. Next round that we have detailed is Izuku versus Shinso. Can't have our main character lose just yet, but we can definitely spend some time focusing on this new guy, and that before overcoming him. Todoroki versus Sero. I don't predict Sero coming through with the Dark Horse and just somehow beating one of the main rivals of this arc. Kaminari versus Planetary Girl. They didn't even mention this in the last episode, so it's probably not a very important match. Kaminari, he's had his time to shine. He's done his area of effect and been very effective in that. Planetary Girl hasn't had anything to do lately besides feel guilt over some underhanded tactics in the cavalry battle. Ida versus Mei Hatsume, this could go either way, but I kind of want to see Ida advance up through the ranks. Mina versus Naval Laser. You can't give Naval Laser a win. It just doesn't happen. Tokoyami versus Yayorozu. I would like to see Yayorozu get more of a push because we had Tokoyami do some awesome stuff last time, so it's someone else's turn now. Kirishima versus Tetsu. It's gonna be close. It could go either way, but I'm rooting for our boys in red. And lastly, Ochiko versus Bakugo. Love Ochiko. Love Bakugo. I think it makes more sense for Bakugo to win here. As much as I'm going to root for Ochiko, I'd be so sad when it happens. And then you have the round 2 matchups, which Izuku versus Todoroki could honestly go either way, but I see more value in the next rounds, like the round 3 and 4, for Deku to have those opponents than for Todoroki to have those opponents. Like, if it ends up Todoroki versus Bakugo, that could also be interesting. And that could result in Todoroki taking the whole thing, which I can definitely see happening. But I'm more interested in, say, a Ida versus Izuku fight than I am in a Bakugo versus Todoroki, because we have 2 friends pitted against each other as opposed to 2 rivals. I love that shit. The 2 girls versus each other, same deal. It's like, that's far enough for Mina, and she probably wouldn't be too down about a loss, but Yayorozu needs the push. Kaminari versus Bakugo could be a very fun match. They built a friendship up quickly, and then have to fight each other. But I would see Bakugo coming out on top there. And then we would have, and as far as Bakugo versus Yayorozu, she was another person that contributed to taking Bakugo down a peg in season 1. So I would like to see him go against her and see if he can overcome that. If his instincts can overcome Yayorozu's creativity and tactics. And that would lead us up to the finals of either Bakugo versus Izuku, which would be a repeat of that scene from season 1, and they would have undergone some growth since then. And I'd like to see how different it could play out in that aspect. But if we get Todoroki versus Bakugo, that's still an interesting matchup. Both of them are very driven to win, and I can see them playing off of each other in interesting ways, like they did in the obstacle course, and we'll have that fight there. And this is where my brain starts ticking in and says, we've had this match, and we've had that match, and, wouldn't it be more interesting if we just suddenly stopped the tournament arc and had a big old interruption that we have to deal with immediately? So an immediate threat that intervenes and puts the tournament arc on hold, and we never see these matches, and we feel that twinge of disappointment of like, I wanted to see that happen. And that keeps us engaged to keep wanting to see that happen. Keep wanting to see these characters go head to head. Another thing I was thinking about since last time was the episode title for last week, which was The Boy Born with Everything, which in this case would refer to Todoroki because that was his backstory episode. The circumstances of his birth is a bit different from many of the other characters. Like, it's basically eugenics, right? He was bred to be the perfect hero with the greatest power and all the advantages that he could ever have or want. That could also, when you have someone born with everything, we also have this counterpoint of, say, Deku, who was born without a quirk at all, and had to work to get where he is instead of being born with it. Todoroki is also, like, he may have been born with all of this, but he didn't ask for any of this, and it was thrust upon him, so he kind of has a complex about all this. And then there's this third aspect where we also have Shinso had focus in that episode, who also has circumstances of, like, what he was born with, and what he got was this mind control quirk that only works when the other person gives a response. So if a person knows about the quirk, there's nothing he can do to trigger his quirk in other ways. So he's at their mercy as a normal human being against someone with a much more powerful quirk, or less restricting quirk even. So I expect we're going to hear more about that and why he's so keen to kick someone out of the hero course and take their place. And that's all I wanted to talk about before the episode, I think. Let's get into the episode itself. This opening has grown on me quite a bit since episode 1. And of course, here we have the recap of Deku ran immediately into it. So we're right into the fight now. And it's going to be a battle of wills. Victory or defeat. So yeah, it's going to go one way or the other. Deku's either going to overcome it or fall completely for it. This is some creepy music. So that's kind of what we were talking about, is compared to Shinso, other heroes are quite lucky. At least he's going the long way, so he has the most time. That's a bit on the nose, isn't it? Oh. And Deku's doing it while looking directly at All Might. Oh, it's that kind of brainwashing too, where he's kind of aware of what he's doing, but you're our idiot, Deku. Oh. Okay, and there's another way to break it. Ojiro is a good guy. And he gave him another chance. We'll avenge you, Ojiro. It's okay. Everyone, including... Oh, that's some dark, haunting ghosts. That's all that pressure that's laying on from episode 1. Oh. What the heck? Oh, what was that just now? That was... So he activated the All-for-One power, and that was able to create a bit of a shockwave, but you had all those shadowy figures. Is that his past lives moment, where all the previous holders of One for All are also laying on the pressure? Because he was looking at All Might at the time and facing him directly, and that was all radiating out of him. Does he have past lives in him? Is All Might going to die, and then there's going to be a Force Ghost All Might that Deku can see through the One for All power? So he's able to break out, so this match is probably over. Anyways, it was a good old Deus Ex Machina, but it's some nice logic. That is kind of an interesting thing. Like, they started out the same, Deku and Shinso, effectively. So Deku could have very well ended up like Shinso in the general studies course, if anything, and I don't know that he would have that jealousy and resentment in him, but he could have turned out very different if other people hadn't taken a chance on him and seen what was special about him. Attack's weak point for massive damage. Deku is lucky, but this wasn't luck. This was other people taking a chance on him, and Deku has been working on that shoulder throw since he used it on Bakugo. Alright, so that's round 1 done, or match 1 done, and we still have half the episode to go? Alright. And now, backstory. Yeah, it is a very villainous power, brainwashing, which is why he's been kind of a dick up to now. Oh, that's all. Alright, that's an interesting take, because Shinso has a very villainous quirk, but he has no intention to be a villain. He wants to be in the hero course because he wants to be a hero, even if his quirk isn't ideal for that, which is interesting. Classic setup and reversal. We've seen a bit of that with Bakugo, too, where Bakugo acts very rash and aggressive and angry, hateful even, but he also wants to be a hero, not a villain. Yeah, so if he loses here, where does he go next? I wonder. And people are thinking like, oh, Deku did this on purpose, where he made it seem like he pulled it at the last moment to make the biggest impact, which is, that is what happened. They're going to have a chat. Oh. Turns out the power of friendship is what it actually is. And, just different perspectives. Of course a pro hero would think about things like that. It's like, oh, I can make people stop doing bad things. So easy. I like this. He was able to make a good impression and gain some new perspective. And the sun is shining, and the cherry blossoms are in bloom. Come on, Shinso, he keeps doing it, but yeah. Even if you have sympathy for your opponent, you have your own goals. And we're getting some of Recovery Girl now, who's again has a new voice, which is Ochigo's voice. When they did the roll call promo videos way back when, I'm pretty sure that was just Lucy Christian doing her old woman voice. And it sounds kind of like that. So much pressure. There's 8 people there, yeah. Okay, so he was able to focus because the fog in his head preventing him from being able to think from the brainwashing was cleared up by those piercing eyes. A light in the dark, if you will. Alright, and All Might Sing was also Deku's will, not just the all-for-one Force Ghosts. That helped him break through? Yeah, that is also a valid explanation. Something interesting there is 8 or 9 people. So that's how many holders of One for All that there have been in the past. Which I was curious about, is how many people has it passed through, how many people have accumulated their power into One for All, and how long it's been around, too. So that's 9 generations of people, so there have been people with quirks for at least that long. It consequently does a bit of world building into My Hero. I was satisfied, Deku. What aren't you? That was cryptic. Was All Might not supposed to be a Force Ghost yet? And who's... Oh. Hey, Dad. Siblings. First we've heard about them. So great. Endeavor and Mama Todoroki didn't get there on the first try, which means they had several siblings. What happened to them? Where are they now? Was Mama Todoroki just in a constant state of pregnancy until the right one popped out? Did any of them not only get the right combination of quirks, but have birth defects? Like an extra chromosome or something. I hope they're okay. I don't think they are, but I hope they're okay. And then intense face from Todoroki to emphasize how crazy Endeavor makes him. And Endeavor has a fair point of, like, he can keep going on just the ice power, but he'll eventually likely fall short when he has all of this power sitting on the table in his left arm. This is a nice Peanuts gallery they have gathered. Don't insult his elbows. Sarah got all the cool animation. That's pretty nice. That's pretty cool. You may have overdone it. You may have really, really overdone it. You caught him at a bad time, Sarah. I'm sorry about that. He doesn't have anything against you. He had a point to prove. He couldn't just win. It had to be an overwhelming victory. Oh, well, we're cheering for the losers now. Okay. Will they at least get him out there? Yeah. So Todoroki's got some anger issues to work out, it seems. As if that wasn't obvious. Alright. Well, I'm 2 for 2 on my predictions so far, but these were the easy ones. So we're gonna get the Izuku versus Todoroki fight that was shown in the opening, which everyone should have predicted. Okay. Alright, and we got a bit more info out of that preview. Okay. So we saw as far as the Metapod fight, so looks like we're gonna just breeze through a bunch of these fights in the next episode. I don't know what the heck Ida and Hatsume were doing, because that was definitely not a match, because Ida's just wearing a jetpack? He's just wearing wings? So I guess Hatsume, she doesn't really care about making it out on top. She just wants to show off her gadgets. So she'll give her gadgets to Ida. Ida will help her show them off, and then she'll just concede the match. So, alright, that's an okay way to go about it. Like, they both get what they want out of the deal. Hatsume gets the spotlight, gets the attention, and it's all on her gadgets, and Ida gets the win and gets to advance. And I don't think he's too prideful for that. And then, at the end of that, we saw a very nervous-looking Ochako, which, yeah, that sounds about right. Like, I have high hopes for Ochako, but going up against Bakugo is not something I would wish on anyone, because he's a very intimidating, like, force of nature, practically. He's always going off about killing and such things. And we have sweet, precious Ochako, who must be protected at all costs. Looks like she's putting on a brave face, giving the thumbs up, and she's gonna give it her best. And who knows, maybe I'm completely wrong, and Ochako comes out on top, and it could be awesome. It's going to be an awesome fight regardless, but we are definitely taking a break from all of this Todoroki drama, which is probably for the best. I think he's had enough screen time. We can pull it back a bit and focus on some of the rest of the cast for an episode or two. But yeah, I think that covers everything I wanted to talk about. If I forget anything or think of something in the meantime, we'll pick that up next week. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye.